another installment of Win with Glenn, where we talk about best practices, life principles that will help you in all that you do.
Welcome to the Win with Glenn video podcast, where Glenn Henderson and special guests will give you the tips, insight, and tools you need to grow, develop your business and career. Go with us as we dive into the best practices and rock-solid principles that will elevate you and bring proven success. Now, here's Glenn Henderson.
Today we're talking about culture. Culture is a incredible thing, concept, principle that everyone needs to rally around. Really, it might be the irreducible minimum that defines your experience, could define your outcome. And today, again, Jim Chambers, my
Great to be
friend
here.
of a couple of moons.
Partner in crime, all the above. Yeah.
Jim, we've been talking about principles. We've been talking about many different things and principles, and here's a principle of culture. But a lot of people, I think, don't really understand. We hear culture, and we hear this is a great company or this is a bad company. And when they hear that, I would like to inform and help characterize, inform people, and let them know that the experience that you experience in business, experience even you can even say at your home, the environment, the atmosphere.
Well, you spend a lot of time
Yeah,
at work.
it's all about, and in business, we call it culture.
Right.
And you have companies that you get to list the 10 best companies or to work
Yeah.
for, and then what I'd like to liken to for us small business, small mid-size, or whoever we are, business people that are in business, that instead of when you look at that list of saying these are the 10 best companies, and then instead of just saying that and then perhaps why, then ask ourselves, what can we do to be one of those best companies? Our company, Jim, we used to have a logistics company, a global
Right.
logistics company, and the average person tenure with our company was actually in the teens. It was like 15,
I
16,
remember that.
16 years, and I had a couple of people that left and came back, and they said, wow, this is a great place to work at.
I remember having a few conversations with you.
And,
Yeah,
and it was
absolutely.
all because we had established what I want to say a great culture, and a great culture actually starts from the top, the leadership, and it starts from who you are. What is it? I'm going to also say the experience. It speaks about your best practices, and just how you conduct business. And so, what has been your experience, good and bad, the good, bad, and the ugly, regarding culture?
For me, because our organization spent many years going in, helping to shape the culture, helping business owners to create that culture. When you think about how long you spend at work every week, it's every year, it's phenomenal. You spend a lot of time there. When you decorate a house or an office or something, you look around. Some people like bright colors, some people like more subdued, some people like certain styles of furniture or the lighting.
Right,
makes it has to do with when you come home at night, your home should be a place where you can relax, decompress from the day, and so on. When you go to work, you don't want to go to work in an intense environment where the culture is all working against you all the time. There's unnecessary stress. A lot of jobs have stress built in, but that's positive stress. But if you go to work and there's conflicts and there's you can't get what you need to do your job, and you're fighting back and forth to get things done, it takes a toll on you, and people don't want to be a part of that. I don't know how many times over the years I've talked to people. They make good money. They have
right.
all of this,
Yep.
and they're like, I want to get out of here.
Right.
I will go to a lesser situation with less stress, with less negative stress, not positive stress, negative stress. And the culture has to do with that. At the core, for me, is a culture. But I started out as a sociologist, so this is many years
So
ago.
we got the brains in the house.
So the values of this company.
Yep. So values.
The
Yep.
core
Yep.
values. I know people say, well, there's too much about core values. No, there's not. You're honest or not honest. That's a core value.
Yeah, we're going to take a deeper dive there, but
Into that,
but
yeah.
in 2024, we fast forward. So culture, I've heard people say, "Well, this place has bad energy."
Yeah.
That's culture.
It does.
Or you hear people say,
Absolutely.
this is." Probably even my place. I've heard people say it's toxic.
Yes.
Well, that's culture. Or
Yeah.
I'm in a toxic environment, and I think
Right.
what people are beginning to see, what culture, right? Nothing new under the sun.
No.
Culture is critical, and you have to have, as you
Absolutely
help leaders, you have to have a set of core values. You have to have non-negotiables. I remember in our company, we said this is who we are. This is what we do. And I remember somebody once told me, he said, we notice there's nobody cursing around here.
Right.
And
we don't do that.
we never said anything.
Yeah.
We just, so culture, we just lived it out.
That's the way it
and people began to experience, well, okay, this is it. And so we had people that did curse, but it was funny. I would be in meetings and something would slip out. And then they would apologize to me. They would say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me for my French." And I didn't say anything.
Well, look, it's your house.
Right.
This
right.
is your house. Your business is your house, right? You have to think of it like that. I had 2 kids growing up. When I had 2 teenagers, either myself or particularly my wife would look
Right.
at them and say, "This is my house. We don't do that in this house. In this house, this is the behavior." So it has to do with values, behavior, atmosphere,
Right,
what's
right.
acceptable and unacceptable. Once a business owner establishes the kind of culture that they want, hey, you're the owner
That's right.
or you're the leader, you're in charge. It is going to be what you want it to be or whatever defaults.
Yeah, and
I'd
what-
rather do it myself.
Right. And
Build a culture.
What people have to understand too is that you've heard that term that one bad apple spoils a whole
Yeah.
batch. If you get one sick person and put them in between 2 healthy persons, then everybody's
Everybody
gonna come out
gets
sick.
sick. Yep.
And then if you get one healthy person and put them between 2 sick people, they're still gonna come out sick. So
Well, it's what-
so
what is it-
toxicity.
Yeah, what is acceptable in a company?
Right.
Many times, managers and leaders of companies and owners let things go, and then they look back. They call people like us and say, "Can you help me?"
Right.
Because this thing's going off the rails. It's out of control. It's the same thing of having a bunch of teenagers at home and they're out of control. There's
Right.
no parent. It's not a teenager problem. It's a parent problem.
Right.
If you have employees that are doing things that are unacceptable, treating customers, treating each other that way, that's on you because you've built a culture like this, right?
Right, right.
But this is that's the only way I understand it. I don't care if I'm in I'm at an army base. The culture of that base is the same as the culture at
Yep.
your little small business.
And what most people, Jim, what most people don't understand, what I try and help them is that you overcome, as once in the ancient text, you overcome evil with good.
Yes.
Or we use the term kill them with kindness. So I remember one day I woke up and looked at our business. It was a global logistics company. And I said, this company does not represent my values because we had grown so fast. And we'll talk.
It gets away from you.
And we said all of a sudden the garden had a lot of weeds in it.
Yeah.
And so we said, how are we going to fix this? And we said, we have got to get back to what you just shared. We've got to get back to our core values. So people say we have got to get back to our basics.
That's what got you where you were. That's what brought the growth. One of the factors that brought the growth was the culture.
Right. Right.
People love working there. I had a great example in our organization. Had a staff member who had a screensaver back in the day when we had screensavers all the time, and it was inappropriate. And he worked in an office with women as one guy and 5 women, and the 5 women showed up in my office to say what is on this computer is inappropriate.
Right.
So I called this young man in. I said, look, this isn't we don't do this here. This is not the kind of thing we do. He apologized. I could have fired him.
Right.
I could have just said, that's it, but no. I said, look, you're offending people with this object on your thing. This is not a part of who we are. It's not part of our culture. I had the exact conversation with him. He agreed, took it down, apologized, and we moved on. And then what reason I bring that up is I was trying to build an organizational culture where people, we're not running around too sensitive, but we are respectful of each other.
Right.
Just common respect for other people. We work together 8 to 10 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. We need to get along with each other, and that means, I don't get to do exactly what I want to do, and that's part of that being on and building kindness on top of it.
Right.
And this young man worked for me the whole time I was there. Then he worked for you.
So one of the things that the takeaways that I want everyone to understand regarding culture is it really is central and germane to your success. Culture, a great culture, will cause you to be successful in winning in an organization, and a poor culture will ultimately be to your demise. This is Win with Glenn. I'll see you next time in our next installment.
Thank you for joining us for the Win with Glenn video podcast. Stay connected by following and subscribing to this podcast on these platforms. Join us every week as Glenn and special guests give you the tools you need to grow and have a successful business or career.